Welcome back to another episode of the Educational AD Podcast. We'll be right back with today's guest, but we want to give a shout out to our podcast partners, the Global Community of Women in High School Sports and We Coach. These are two great organizations that you really need to be a part of. So check out We Coach and the Global Community of Women in High School Sports. Now let's have a quick word from our podcast sponsors. We want to say thanks to Sideline Interactive indoor scoring tables and video boards. Their products not only raise money for your department, but they also create the ultimate game day experience for your student athletes. Go to sidelineinteractive.com and schedule a live web demo and see their tables and boards in action. We've got a Sideline Interactive indoor scoring table in our gym, and it's just fantastic. We use it for home games, of course, but we also use it for pep rallies, for signing ceremonies. It's tremendously versatile, and their customer service is just outstanding. You can also email them at sales@sidelineinteractive.com and see exactly what their fantastic products can do for you. That's sidelineinteractive.com. We also want to say thanks to Wall of Fame by Vital Signs. If you're looking for a really cool way to display your school's record boards for all your sports or your school's Hall of Fame, go to vitalsignswalloffame.com and check out their interactive touchscreen consoles and their templates that will help you recognize the athletic achievements of your students, both past and present. Let them help you showcase your school's diverse history and your proudest moments, and go to vitalsignswalloffame.com. That's vitalsignswalloffame.com. We also want to say thanks to Athletic Surveys by Lifetrack. Athletic Surveys by Lifetrack are a quick, easy, and affordable way for you to collect comprehensive data that allows you to evaluate and improve your entire athletic program. At my school, we use surveys for just about everything, for teachers, for coaches, for kids, and for parents. And the information that would come back on the surveys was almost always positive, and it'll be the same for you. But surveys also allow that squeaky wheel parent to vent a little bit. And sometimes they're going to share a small issue that you can address and keep it from turning into a big issue because you didn't know about it because you hadn't done a survey. Go to athleticsurveys.com or email them at info@athleticsurveys.com to find out more. If you've never used a survey to take the pulse of your parents or your student athletes, you're really missing out. Talk to the folks at Athletic Surveys by Lifetrack and let them help you take your athletic program from good to great. We also want to say thanks to Final Forms, the industry leader in forms and registration, but Final Forms is so much more than that. Final Forms can help your parents with things like reminders about policies, about physicals, and all the forms that come when you have an athlete in the house. Final Forms can help your coaches with attendance and communication. And for you as an athletic director, Final Forms can help you with eligibility, with rosters, and all the reports that come across your desk. You know, it's time that you talk to a team that's walked in your shoes. To take the next steps and find out what Final Forms can do for you, go to finalforms.com/Jake. That's finalforms.com/Jake to get started with Final Forms. We want to say thanks to Huddle. Go to huddle.com. Huddle is how the world sees sports. Over 200,000 teams use Huddle to help their athletes play better. As a football coach, I used Huddle for years. But when I became an athletic director, I made sure our school was a Huddle school. And our coaches just loved the smart cameras, the mobile apps. Of course, they love the analytics, but there's so much more. Go to huddle.com and you're going to find tools to help your teams, your coaches, and your athletes improve. And Huddle is going to provide a professional grade solution to the challenges that you and your coaches face. Go to huddle.com. We believe in sports and teams believe in Huddle. Join the 6 million users and find out how to turn your school into a Huddle school. You can find it all at huddle.com. We also want to say thanks to Gipper. Go to Gipper.com and see how athletic directors and coaches are creating world-class marketing content for their school's social media channels. You can do it in seconds on any device, and you don't need any design experience. Go to Gipper.com and tell them you heard about it on the podcast. Use our code ADPOD10 and get 10% off. That's Gipper.com. Create custom branded content for your school's social media channel. We also want to say thanks to Snap Mobile. Go to onsnap.com, that's onsnap.com, and check out their platforms that are designed to help you as an athletic director do your job better. Snap Raise is their fundraising platform. Our coaches have used Snap Raise with great success, and you can too. There's even an option where you can get your money before you actually start your fundraiser. Snap Spend is their secure money management platform. Snap Mobile is the parent site, and you can also connect with Snap Connect, their multilingual family engagement platform, Snap Store to order custom gear, and Snap Manage will help you build a website. You can find it all at onsnap.com. That's onsnap.com. We also want to say thanks to Hometown Ticketing, the leading digital ticketing provider to schools and colleges. Go to hometownticketing.com and you're going to find out how to sell your tickets online. You're going to find out how to scan the attendees that come to your games and collect your revenue. And every step of the way, you're going to have a dedicated client success manager that's providing hands-on support. That's every step of the way. Go to hometownticketing.com. They'll also show you how to set up and sell tickets for things like school dances, your school plays and concerts, even graduation. You can find it all at hometownticketing.com. Simple and easy online ticketing. Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Educational AD Podcast. We're going to South Carolina today, and our guest is Chelsea Marie DeWitt. She is the athletic director, and she also coaches at South Aikin Baptist, and that's in Aikin, South Carolina. Chelsea and I connected on one of the Facebook athletic director platforms, thought she'd be a good guest, and here she is today. So, Chelsea, welcome to the Educational AD Podcast.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for having me on. I am a newbie to all of this, as I've only been in this position for about 2.5 years now. So there's a lot for me to learn. And I love asking to be on here. Thank you.
Well, we're looking forward to hear your perspective and your experiences. That's what the podcast is all about. So let's go and jump right in. We always start off by letting our listeners get to know our guest. So give us that Chelsea DeWitt bio, maybe in about 4 minutes. Where you were born, where you grew up, maybe take us up through the college years, and then we'll talk a little bit more about your career. So what's the Chelsea DeWitt story?
I was born in upstate New York, Rochester, and my parents very involved with Pop Warner football. Grew up. They joke that I was born on the field, and so I always grew up around sports. And we ended up moving to Florida for my high school time. And when we moved to Florida, I just got involved with volleyball. That was my love. That was the one thing that really brought me joy. And so I played volleyball, I played club volleyball after that. And I got one season into college on the rec team. And unfortunately, my path took me in a different way. And I became a mom. I married a wonderful man from the Air Force. And I became a mom, and I did that for a little while. And when we moved to South Carolina from the Air Force, moved us down here. And when we got here to South Carolina, we were looking for a school for my daughter. And at the time, they need an athletic director. And I said, well, I played volleyball, I coached volleyball for a little while. And so maybe I can get in here. And my principal at the time, she graciously gave me the job, and I've been lucky and fortunate ever since.
Oh, very cool. I'm curious, what part of Florida were you in when you were down here?
Yeah, I was in Fort Lauderdale, Coral Springs. I went to
Okay, what school did you go to?
Coral Springs High School.
Okay, my early career from in Florida, not my early career, but when we moved to Florida from 2000 to about 2008, I was the athletic director and head football coach at Coral Springs Christian Academy, just around the corner.
Yeah, that's a small world.
Very small world. Okay. Um, Talk a little bit about those early years, coming on board there at South Aikin as the athletic director. As you said, you had some athletic experience, but how was that like? Leading a program. Let's face it, right out of the chute.
Yeah, when we had our parent meeting in August, I was already behind on everything, playing catch up, and we had our parent meeting, and also we were just coming out of COVID too. This is 2020, so this is the first time back to school after that. So I think I got a double dose, and I said, "Listen, we're going to survive this year. That's what we're doing. We're going to bring it back, and we're going to survive." And that's kind of what I told them at the beginning. There is this is going to be difficult, and y'all are going to have some patience because I know there's a lot of uncharted territory here coming back into it. So it wasn't like I was even coming back to normal sports where we all knew what the schedule was or anything like that. It was, when do we have to wear a mask? When do we have to do this and that kind of thing? So it was interesting.
Now, with all of those challenges that you just alluded to, that every single athletic director, had to deal with,
Mhm.
COVID was actually my final year as an AD before I retired. Um, what was what sort of situation did you walk into? Was it an established athletic program that had experienced great success? Was it a new program? What was the environment that you had to take over?
I think the best way to describe it is everybody kind of knew who we were, but it wasn't defined. And that's actually what we've been working on this past year is defining our culture and who we are and what is our goal. I think before it was, this is a good opportunity. We're a small school. I mean, our middle and high school is about 100 students. So we're really, really small, and having that, just being able to kind of see what those challenges were and trying to, get above water there.
Oh yeah, creating that identity and building that culture, critical in any program. Very cool.
Yeah.
It's going to be
Yeah.
interesting to see how it grows over the coming years under your
Yeah.
leadership. For our listeners, our guest today is Chelsea Marie DeWitt, and she's the athletic director at South Aikin Baptist, and that's in Aikin, South Carolina. We're going to take a quick break, but we'll be back with some more. So please stay with us. This is the Educational AD Podcast. We want to say thanks to Hometown Ticketing for their support of the podcast. Hometown Ticketing is the leading digital ticketing provider to schools and colleges. And if you go to hometownticketing.com, they will show you how to set up and sell your tickets online. They'll show you how to scan the attendees that come to your games and collect your revenue. And every step of the way, you'll have a dedicated client success manager that's providing you hands on support. That's every step of the way. Go to hometownticketing.com. They'll also show you how to set up and sell tickets for things like school dances, your school plays and concerts, even graduation. You can find it all at hometownticketing.com. Simple and easy online ticketing. We also want to say thank you to Sideline Interactive. Their indoor scoring tables and video boards not only create excitement for the gym, but they also can help you raise thousands of dollars for your department. You heard me say that we have a Sideline Interactive indoor scoring table in our gym, and it's just fantastic. We use it for home games, of course, but we also use it for pep rallies, for signing ceremonies. It's tremendously versatile, and their customer service is just outstanding. Go to sidelineinteractive.com and schedule a live web demo and see their tables and boards in action. You can also email them at sales@sidelineinteractive.com to see exactly what their fantastic products can do for you. That's sidelineinteractive.com. Hey, welcome back, everyone, to the Educational AD Podcast. Our guest is Chelsea DeWitt, and she's the athletic director at South Aikin Baptist in South Carolina. Chelsea, another thing we like to do is allow our guests to give a shout out to some of the mentors that they've had in their life. None of us get to where we're at on our own. The expression I like to use is, I still hear my mentors' voices in my head, even at this age. So, do you have any voices that you still hear?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like I mentioned, my parents kind of raised me in this Pop Warner football and cheerleading, and my mom, I just looked to her so much for all the strength she not only did she raise 3 kids while also about 400 more on the teams that all looked to her, also as somebody who is just incredibly strong person. When I was younger, she had breast cancer, and I think that it really brought our family together and also pulled our family apart in many different ways of just seeing how strong she was and how amazing she did at juggling all of that. Now I'm a young mother, and I'm also doing those leading roles as well as she did. So I definitely look to her and her strength, and I can say if she did that, I can do it too, and kind of look at it this way, and I can hear her saying that to me as well. Um, my coaches as well when I was younger, my club coach, he really enforced a lot of things in when I was going through that middle school phase that we all go through of who our identity is. He really helped me kind of realize that just be yourself, just be yourself. And I can kind of hear that him now when I'm going through things and I'm nervous about a speech or a banquet, athletic banquet, and I can just hear him saying, just be yourself, it'll be okay, just be yourself. So definitely those two people I can think of. And now I'm still kind of looking for an athletic director, kind of to take me under their wing as a mentor or something, because I certainly don't know what I'm doing half the time. But my principal here, she is an amazing lady. I look to her for a lot of her leadership. She has a servant's heart, a servant's leader, and that is something that I value a lot. And so she's amazing for a lot of things. And then on the athletic side of it, I'm still navigating, where to find that person.
Well, we've got a couple of ADs from South Carolina that have been on the podcast that I would be more than happy to connect you with, after we get off this recording here. But, that's very cool. Right. Um, Also, I promised you I wasn't going to ambush you, but I guess I'm going to ambush you now. You are, as we alluded to, you're a couple of years into the profession, so you're getting started with your AD career. Sounds like you're off to a great start. Where are you with getting involved with your state athletic director association and with the NIAAA? And I'll go ahead and preface it. I got involved with my state association in the NIAAA very late in my athletic director career. So where are you right now as far as your state and the national association?
Yeah, I'm really excited. This will be my first year attending the conference, and it's just a few days away. So this is the first year, and so I'm really excited to kind of learn as much as I possibly can at these places. Um, I will be taking 501, 502 at the conference in person. So I feel like kind of a driving force right now as far as getting on top of it and getting involved with the NIAAA and to see what needs there are in my community.
All right. Well, that is so cool. We just aired an episode on Sunday, and for our listeners, we're recording this on December, just before the conference starts. But we just aired an episode on going to your very first national conference. So maybe go back and take a listen to that, and I'll certainly help you out myself. So let's definitely plan on connecting while we're in Nashville. Very cool. Our guest today for our listeners is Chelsea DeWitt. She's the athletic director at South Aikin Baptist, and that's in Aikin, South Carolina. We're going to take another quick break, but we'll be back with some more. This is the Educational AD Podcast. We also want to say thanks to our good friends at Snap Raise. Go to onsnap.com. That's onsnap.com, and check out their entire suite of platforms designed to help athletic directors do their job better. Snap Raise is their fundraising platform. Our coaches have used Snap Raise with great success, and you can too. There's even an option where you can get your funding before you actually start your fundraiser. Snap Spend is their secure money management platform. Snap Store allows you to order custom spirit gear for the people in your program. Snap Connect is their multilingual family engagement platform, and Snap Manage will help you build an entire website for your athletic department. You can find it all at onsnap.com. That's onsnap.com. We also want to say thanks to Vital Signs Wall of Fame. If you're looking for a really cool way to display your school's record boards or your school's Hall of Fame, go to vitalsignswalloffame.com and check out their touchscreen interactive consoles and their library of templates. They're going to help you recognize the athletic achievements of your students, both past and present. And you can find it all at vitalsignswalloffame.com. Let them help you showcase your school's diverse history and your proudest moments. And go to vitalsignswalloffame.com or email them at sales@vitalsignswalloffame.com to get started. Welcome back to the Educational AD Podcast. Chelsea, one of the things we try to do at the podcast is this idea of sharing best practices. So I'm going to put you on the spot. What are some things that you do at your school that you're particularly proud of that you'd like to share with our listeners? Do you have any best practices?
Yeah, I mean, one of the really cool things that we get to do here is for each sport, each coach kind of has their own motto for their team, and that may change. I know it does for me. It changes year to year of what we're going to focus on that year. And I don't know, it's really cool to see how it connects not only into the school and what we're doing in school, but also into the athletics and from sport to sport, how it connects. This year for volleyball, we focused on hustle and heart. That was our theme for this year. And for my middle school girls, that's exactly what they did. And that I've seen that kind of transfer now that we're moving into our basketball season. We have multi-sport athletes that just go from sport to sport, trying to figure out what they like best. And it's really cool to see with them how that's transferring into basketball and how they're using what they learned in the previous season to move forward. And one of the most amazing, my track and field coaches, they won 2 years in a row now. They have won our state title for our boys cross country team. Their slogan, their motto is no regrets. And I certainly think that they don't have any regrets because that's what they do. They leave it all out there. Another one they like to use that now I am using in my own life is when you're running, they like to explain it. When you're running to the top of the hill, you start to have a different pace as you're running, and so when you get off pace, then you start to go down the hill. You have to catch your pace back. And one of the things they say is when they run is they say, my team needs me. And those are your 4 steps, and they say that my team needs me when they get to the top of the hill. And I've been saying that as I'm training in my own life of my family needs me, that I'm working on being healthier, or working towards this 5K right now. And I said, my family needs me, or my team needs me, my players need me, that kind of thing. So that's really cool what at our school, that each team, they have their own slogan or motto that they focus on during that season. And I love how it builds the relationships and team bonding throughout that.
Well, I love that. My team needs me. Again, very simple, very focused, and it's about the team. It's not about you or me. It's team focused. Very cool, and I like how you incorporated that yourself. Departmentally. Okay, very cool. Okay,
Yeah.
Chelsea, if one of our listeners wanted to reach out and pick your brain a little bit, find out more about how you do your programs there, or just connect, what's the best way that they can get in touch with you?
Um, Email is definitely the best way. My email is the word athletics at sabcm South Aikin Baptist Christian Ministry.org, and the school website, sabcschool.org. All of our information is on there as well about all of our teams.
Okay. And we'll give that address out again at the end of the podcast. So, once again, for our listeners, our guest today is Chelsea DeWitt, and she's the director of athletics at South Aikin Baptist, and that's in Aikin, South Carolina. We're going to take another break, but we'll be back with some more. This is the Educational AD Podcast. We want to say thanks to Gipper for their support of the podcast. Go to Gipper.com and you'll see how athletic directors and coaches are creating world-class marketing content for their school's social media channels. You can do it in seconds on any device, and you don't need any design experience. It's so easy, even I can do it. Go to Gipper.com, tell them you heard about it on the podcast, and use our code ADPOD10 and get 10% off. That's Gipper.com. Create world-class marketing content for your school's social media channel. We also want to say thanks to Huddle. Go to Huddle.com. Huddle is how the world sees sports. Over 200,000 teams use Huddle to help their athletes perform better. As a football coach, I used Huddle for years, but when I became an athletic director, I made sure our school was a Huddle school, and our coaches just loved the smart cameras, the mobile apps. Of course, they love the analytics, but there's so much more. At Huddle.com, you're going to find tools to help every team, every coach, and every athlete in your program improve. And Huddle's going to provide a professional grade solution for the challenges that your coaches face. Go to Huddle.com. We believe in sports, and teams believe in Huddle. Join the 6 million users and turn your school into a Huddle school. Welcome back, everyone, to the Educational AD Podcast. Our guest is Chelsea DeWitt from South Aikin Baptist in South Carolina. Chelsea, one of the newer questions we've been asking our guests goes back to, the kids. And we always say we're in it for the kids. So the question, which I borrowed from my good friend Jen Brooks in the global community of women in high school sports, what have you learned from your student athletes, either, coaching or as an athletic director? What are some things that have just opened your eyes and maybe created that aha moment?
Yeah, both as a coach and as an athletic director, listening, be a better listener. That's what I've learned from them. They have so much, I think, that they have to say, that they want to be able to give a voice to talk to somebody. And I see that a lot here, is that we're looking for community, looking for relationships, that kind of thing. So, my door is always open in my office. I got a futon here. They can come in, sit down, have a piece of candy, whatever they want. And sometimes we say nothing at all, and then they go about their day. But that really has helped me just stop and say, just listen, give them an outlet to talk, to say what they need to say. And that has been, that was my aha moment for sure, for some of the issues that they have going on at home, things that they have to deal with as far as social media goes, the critique on their efforts, both in sports and in school. It's amazing to see and to really feel what, I have a 13-year-old that sits down and says, that they're having a hard time. Their effort at practice is because of something outside of practice, and they don't know how to shut that off. They don't know who to talk to about that. And so I hate to see that for them, but I also love to give them an opportunity. So, hey, we can talk about this. We can get you the resources that you might need. We can bring in a parent. We can bring in somebody else that you trust, and then move forward with, oh, now they're succeeding in the sport that they choose. Now they're the best passer on the team. Now, they're making the most free throw shots. It's just amazing to see, that all connects, and giving them an outlet to do that.
Yeah, very, very cool. Again, we've talked before on the podcast about, the importance of listening. I say, it's a tool that I wish I would have not just found, but used, much earlier in my career.
Mhm.
Um, can you think of an example where you've seen with one of your own student athletes? Maybe it wasn't somebody that you coach, maybe it was somebody in the program where you really saw, success bloom from, this application. Anything come to mind?
Yeah, I mean, I can think of one of my students who uh, is a child of a divorced family, previously divorced, like years. This is not new. This is not fresh. And we were, I was new here, and said, I made a silly mistake of opening my mouth when I shouldn't have, and told that student, oh, I love to see that your parents always come to every game. It's great that you have good supporters. And the student was able to open up and say, yeah, but I get a lot of flack about it at home, what I'm doing wrong and that kind of thing, and a lot of critical things that their parents, would say about their performance and things like that. And so I took that and I ended up, saying, hey, the so and so said this is what they're struggling with. How can we partner up so that they can succeed and not have to worry about being criticized? And so we had that honest conversation of hey, we need this is not helping him succeed, and we need to be able to take him from where he's at, because we both know that he has the potential. That's why we're so hard on him, is because we know he has a potential. And I saw a parent step back and say, I'm going to be a better supporter, and I saw a student step up and say, oh, I don't have that much pressure. And once that pressure was lifted from them, they just skyrocketed, scoring points and baskets like crazy, being a great teammate, being a great leader. It was amazing to watch, amazing to see.
Yeah, and again, you touch on a couple of very cool points. It starts with the listening, but ongoing is building that relationship, with the kids, and also when appropriate, circling in with the parents and having everybody on the same page. So the coach
Yeah.
can coach, the kid can go out and compete and get better, and the parent, you know, is confident that good things are happening and can sit back, stay back, and let the coaches kind of do their work and just support their kid and not, you know, get involved, in ways that aren't best for the kid and the parent to be connected.
Mhm.
Very, very cool stuff. Once again, our guest today is Chelsea DeWitt. She's the athletic director at South Aikin Baptist in Aikin, South Carolina. We're going to take another break, but we're almost done with our breaks. Please stay with us. This is the Educational AD Podcast. We want to thank Final Forms for their support of the podcast. Final Forms is the industry leader in forms and registration, but there's so much more than that. Final Forms can help your stakeholders with reminders about policies and reminders about physicals and all the different forms that come when you have an athlete in the house. Final Forms can help your coaches with things like attendance and communication. And for athletic directors, Final Forms can help you with um, eligibility, with rosters, and all the reports that come across your desk. It's time that you talk to a team that's walked in your shoes. To take the next steps and find out what Final Forms can do for you, go to finalforms.com/Jake. That's finalforms.com/Jake and get started with Final Forms. Welcome back, everyone, to the Educational AD Podcast. Chelsea, one of our long standing talking points revolves around this idea of social awareness. And I know that's a big umbrella, but what are some things that you think athletic directors and coaches can do to do a better job of being socially aware with their stakeholders? Do you have any advice for us?
Yeah. It is a really big topic. Like you mentioned, we're in South Carolina. We are a Christian school in the middle of a Bible belt, and we see it a lot in our community. It kind of pings off of what I've said before about being a good listener to our students. they are facing this at a level that is almost we've never seen before. I mean, one person says something and 5 minutes later 10,000 people know what it is. That's kind of the world that we live in with TikTok and Snapchat and Be Real and everything that's going on. um, I noticed this with us, that we have this kind of a separation that has started. Being a small Christian school around, there's about maybe three others right within our area, three or four other small private schools within our area, and then it just expands throughout all of South Carolina. We also play some teams in Georgia as well. Uh, you see this constant issue of private schools for us, private independent schools, and our public schools or charter schools in our area. Fortunate for us, we are so small that these public schools, they blow us out of the water every time that we want to, but it's good because what ends up happening is hopefully we'll be able to break down some of that stigma that there's this. If you go to a private school, you're going to have a better experience. I think that's what people uh, might think, and that they won't be as susceptible to some of those um, uh, kind of allegations or things that happen more on the public side. Learning more as I go through this. One of the classes that I'm going to be taking at the conference is the Title IX and all of what that involves. It's no surprise of what you see from these high school public high schools, and the hurdles that they need to get over. And I hope that what I can do is open up people's eyes that there's also a lot of hurdles for the independent sector to get through. I think that one that's probably been for us the biggest issue of trying to see that we also have a lot of hurdles. People think I or I assume that people think that we don't have as many hurdles. We have more resources, but the opposite is actually true. We actually have less resources at our level. And so, yeah, that's a lot of what I've been learning about.
And you bring up again a lot of very important points. I spent most of my career, especially the latter 25 plus years at private schools and Christian schools here in Florida, and there can be, it works both ways. Our enrollment. I think the school that I was at that had the largest high school enrollment was probably around 400 students, which is huge compared to yours. But when you're going head to head with say the local public school, which might have close to 3,000 students in it, there can be some competitive imbalances. But when you're able to compete and sometimes even beat those teams, it's a great experience for your kids. But at the same time, you're looking for that great athletic experience. Yeah, we want to win, but we're not looking for guaranteed victories. We're just also not looking for guaranteed, destruction, seeing our teams blown out. Very interesting take on that. Chelsea, this has been really cool getting to know you, finding out that we've got a Coral Springs connection there. And I'm also looking forward to connecting with you at the national conference. But we're not done yet. We always wrap up with the athletic director's toolbox. Now, you're still on the front end of your athletic director career. You've got many more years to go. But in just a minute, I'm going to challenge you to send out a brand new athletic director, even younger than you, on their very first job. But I'm only going to let you put 3 things in their toolbox. So we're going to take a quick break and hear from Athletic Surveys, who sponsor the Athletic Director Toolbox segment. And when we come back, we're going to find out what Chelsea DeWitt is going to put into her Athletic Director Toolbox. Please stay with us. We want to thank Athletic Surveys by Lifetrack for sponsoring the Athletic Director Toolbox segment. Athletic Surveys by Lifetrack are a quick, easy, and affordable way for you to collect comprehensive data that allows you to evaluate and improve every aspect of your program. Athletic Surveys by Lifetrack also connects you with parents and the student athletes who really support your program. And it gives them a voice to help demonstrate the importance that a quality athletic experience has for them. At my school, we use surveys for just about everything, for coaches, for kids, and for parents. And the information that would come back was almost always positive, and it'll be the same for you. But surveys also allow that squeaky wheel parent to vent a little bit. And sometimes they're going to share a small issue that you can address and keep it from turning into a big issue because you didn't know about it because you hadn't done a survey. Go to athleticsurveys.com or email them at info@athleticsurveys.com to get started. If you've never used a survey to take the pulse of your parents or your student athletes, you're really missing out. Talk to the folks at Athletic Surveys by Lifetrack and let them help you take your athletic program from good to great. Well, it's that time of the podcast. We've been visiting with Chelsea DeWitt. She's the athletic director at South Aikin Baptist School in Aikin, South Carolina. She's at the beginning of her career, but she's no stranger to the world of athletics. So, Chelsea, what 3 items are you going to put into your new athletic director toolbox?
For me, it is definitely the band app is my go-to for communication. I'm gonna put that in my toolbox for everything. If I'm gonna have to talk to a parent, coach, anything, I'm gonna send it through that. That'd be my first tool is the band app. The second one, and that's only I think that's because we haven't grown as big yet for some of those bigger abilities that they have. The second one is a class, take a class, do something on Excel, Google Sheets, make sure you know really well about, that being able to keep your records straight. And the last one is a stopwatch. That is going to be a big tool for me is a stopwatch. Keep track of your time. Don't spend hours and hours on something that you need to take a break from. Make sure that you give yourself a certain allotted time because I feel like a lot of athletic directors, we have so much heart and so much passion for this that we can get carried away and dive too deep into some things that we need to step back from. So a stopwatch to make us take a little break sometimes.
Well, I love the stopwatch, both physically and as a metaphor for being organized, having that time management, and great shout out to those to the XL and to Band. Absolutely, very cool tools that help ADs get organized.
Mm-hmm.
Chelsea, we did this before, but one more time, if one of our listeners wants to reach out, pick your brain a little bit about how you do things at your school, or even connect down the road. What's the best way they can get a hold of you?
Our website is sabcschool.org, and my personal email, you can email me at the word athletics@sabcm.org.
Chelsea DeWitt from South Aikin Baptist. Thanks so much for being on the podcast today. All the best moving forward. And again, let's definitely connect in Nashville.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Jake. I appreciate your time. I'm excited for Nashville. Like you said, I hope it's not too overwhelming. I think the amount of emails that I've gotten so far is enough for me, but I'm excited to learn as much as I possibly can to get better and to bring it back here so we can learn and grow here as well.
Oh, no, absolutely. That's what it's all about. And I guarantee you're going to have a great time. Okay.
Thank you.
For our listeners, remember the Zoom recordings of each interview get uploaded to the Educational AD Podcast YouTube channel. We appreciate you listening today. Come back just about every day for new content on the Educational AD Podcast. We'll see you next time.